With the world's media dominated by coverage of COVID-19, it might seem that the battle for the White House is not as intense as it has been in previous years. Though the traditional city-hopping campaign trail may have fallen by the wayside, the race remains wide open. Incumbent Donald Trump is running for a second term. His first has been characterised by increased action in the Middle East, affirming allegiances with regional powers like the UAE and Saudi Arabia. In fact, his first trip outside the US as president was to Riyadh. His administration went on to recognise Jerusalem as the Israeli capital and announced plans to relocate the US embassy there from Tel Aviv.
And we moved the capital of Israel to Jerusalem. That's for the evangelicals.
It was a decision that inflamed tensions in the Arab world and provoked criticism from its Western allies and the UN. But nearly 3 years on, the president helped seal the historic Abraham Accord, which sees Israel halt the annexation of Palestinian territories in exchange for establishing diplomatic ties with the UAE.
This deal will allow much greater access to Muslims from throughout the world to visit the many historic sites in Israel.
Closer to home, his term has featured a revolving door of White House staff, as well as impeachment last December on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
This is Trump first, not American first, not American ideals first.
The Senate acquitted Mr. Trump, but the 45th president of the US became only the third after Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton to be impeached. Meanwhile, rival Joe Biden has taken the Democrats' nomination for the presidency on his third attempt, after unsuccessful runs in 1988 and 2008. He is running as a former vice president in an administration that governed from the center.
The best vice president America's ever had, Mr. Joe Biden.
Either man would become the oldest ever president of the US. Trump will be 74 years old when the elections roll round in November, and Biden 78. But the two could hardly be more different. Trump made his name in business, since taking over his father's real estate operation in 1971 and expanding it from residential property into casinos, hotels, golf courses and resorts. He has become a fixture in the media. He made cameo appearances in TV and film. Trump was the star of reality TV show The Apprentice. Now a Republican president known for populist and America First policies, Trump has previously been affiliated with America's Democratic and Reform parties and was once a registered independent. He is known for his often controversial opinions, delivered via his personal Twitter account, allowing for a day-to-day insight into the president's unfiltered and unscripted thoughts. It has also provided him a direct line to the public on which to campaign, since the pandemic forced candidates off the traditional campaign trail. Biden has been an active member of the Democratic Party since the late 1960s. He's a career politician with 24 years as a Delaware senator and an 8-year vice presidency, deputizing for Barack Obama. Trump and Biden have vastly different perspectives on the Middle East. During his term, Trump has withdrawn the US from the Iran nuclear deal and started pulling troops out of Syria. He has long backed intervention in Yemen against the Iran-backed Houthis, while Biden has consistently called for an end to support for the mission. There has been much speculation that a United States, led by Mr. Biden, would rejoin the Iran nuclear deal, as he supported the Obama administration in brokering the agreement in 2015. Biden's manifesto states that he would seek an end to the war in Afghanistan, instead refocusing US military operations on tackling ISIS and Al-Qaeda. He has also pledged to end the travel ban that bars citizens from several Muslim-majority countries from entering the US on his first day in the White House.
This is the most important election in modern American history. Muslim communities were the first to feel Donald Trump's assault on black and brown communities in this country with his vile Muslim ban.
It's not a Muslim ban, but we were totally prepared. It's working out very nicely.
Trump's 2016 path to the White House saw him win over key voters in swing states, turning Florida and Ohio from blue to red. It also saw the so-called blue wall begin to crumble as Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin voted Trump. Pennsylvania and Michigan hadn't voted Republican since 1988, Wisconsin since 1984. 9 sitting presidents have lost the bid for a second term, the most recent being George Bush Sr. in 1992. For months now, Biden has held a consistent and significant lead over Trump in the opinion polls, after the latter came under fire for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Even a number of prominent Republicans have endorsed Biden over Trump.
I'm a lifelong Republican, but that attachment holds second place to my responsibility to my country. Joe Biden is a man for our times.
The race cannot be considered foregone. As has often been the case, voters can change their minds up until the very last moment, and the popular vote does not necessarily dictate who steps into one of the most powerful offices on earth.